She has a master's in English. She is the author of 3 critically acclaimed books. She has dabbled in all genres of writing, from journalism and content writing to academic essays and fiction and poetry. Very recently, she has been part of an upcoming short film, Kolkata Cocktail, as a docu-feature based on poetry. She loves performing poetry as spoken words art and has performed in various forms in USA and India. And didn't you also just become a teacher at...
Yes, I'm a writing instructor at TCU and Richland College both.
Well, this is Lopa Banerjee.
I recently joined actually, it's a very recent development. So actually I authored 5 books and edited 4 more. So if you take all of them into consideration, though not all of them are entirely my work, I have multiple author anthologies as well. So I have done 9 books with my name in the cover, and the 10th one, my fiction book, is coming up. So I can't do without writing, because I have been censured a lot because I don't give importance to other work and write and write and write all day. But that's who I am. I have accepted it as a part of my being now. And very recently, this short film came out of our poetry. Like, there were 3 poets, me and 2 of my other poets in India. We have collaborated to make a short film based on our poetry. So hopefully one day, if God permits, or my destiny permits, I'll show them to you all. So the poems are taken from this book only. And this book is my recent book, which is both poetry and memoir, the genre that I teach nowadays. So I'll be reading one memoir which is dedicated to my 2 girls. The younger one is here, the older one couldn't come. So I'll start with that, and then I'll move on to 2 short poems. So it won't take more than 15-20 minutes. So the name of the memoir is The Topography of the Mind, which I dedicated to my girls, and I won't be able to read the whole of it because it is quite big. I'll read significant excerpts of it. The Topography of the Mind, a memoir for my daughters, and it was first published in a journal called Review. Later it became part of this book, Woman and Her Muse. Crazy girls, listen. The topography of a fertile adult mind of a woman turning middle-aged and forlorn is a queer one. Every morning, the tiny windows of your mind's room are the spilled whole milk, the sugary beads of brown, green, yellow, pink grains of the cereals tossed and turned over and over. Every hurried morning, the household is the running, the stumbling on, the overdose of white sheets scribbled in haywire pencils and crayons, and the splattering of sibling talks and the milk teeth falling out, restored in Ziploc bags and hidden beneath crumpled pillows in the bed. The tooth fairy might cross the perennial river of your virgin dreams and emerge in a starry, mirthful night, you see. The tooth fairy? Oh yeah, you crazy girls still fight over her elusive arrival. You haven't yet trampled over the unsacred laws of truth. Once the marks of truth are carved, the Lakshman Rekha, the boundary line, is clear, defined. Every evening, the orchestra of your piano and your violin lessons are the undulations amplified by the medley of Indian movies and songs. They spill over the rooms where your duels, your fights, your ecstasy pushes the boundaries of our haunting ballads of loneliness. Every night, you both step into your pajamas and do the nightly ritual of brushing your adult teeth, grown recently, and finally in the bed, you fish for that Ziploc bag carrying the minuscule milk teeth. My girls, month after month, the topography of your small mind consists of the connecting dots of flowers that have bloomed, fairies whom you are on the verge of bidding adieu, whispers that are still moist and fragrant but will soon turn into adolescent talks and the unfailing urge of letting go. It consists of the beginning of a blow here, an arch of an understanding there. You know what is the biggest state in USA? The 9-year-old questions me. The 9-year-old has turned 11 years now, so this was written 2 years back. I know it is California. We have been there twice. Pat comes the reply from her 7-year-old sister, which is she. She's now 9. No, it is the state of Alaska with the biggest coastline. The 9-year-old is quick to rectify. So where does the coastline end? Are you sure it stretches way more than the beaches we have been in California? The younger one, starry-eyed and always brimming with excitement, quizzes her. Yes, yes, it's bigger. Wow, it's huge then, she says. The curious minds are quick to take in all the concoctions of the beach tales they have been part of since they were 2 years old in the states of California, Florida, Texas, among others. Their quizzing meanders into many unforeseen directions, from the discovery of Galileo to the revelation of Australia in the southern hemisphere, starting to have the fall season when we are transitioning from spring to our long summer days. A map of the world in their upstairs bedroom hangs on the wall indolently, slanted on one side, crumpling on the other side. And they often get carried away by the complex layered topography of the map, striving to unravel their little bits and pieces positioned somewhere within that mammoth universe. We talked about the Himalayas of India in school today, Mommy. The mountain range, the flora and fauna there, the 9-year-old reveals during bedtime. Oh yes, we talked about it in our class too. The 7-year-old exclaims and then adds, but no, I forgot what I learnt. She says, I forgot a lot of times all through the day as her favorite refrain that washes past her shore. Now, off to sleep. The clock goes tic-tac-toe. It's 9 already. Why still awake, silly girls? 8 hours of sleep is the minimum you need, remember? My words of admonition mixed with a dash of indulgence are the wrinkles that grow on that canvas of simple leisure, the wrinkles that turn steady, insistent, and necessary. You must learn and unlearn and then again learn and unlearn as the days and nights overpower you, as the topography of the mind will change at every turn. I tell you, the topography of a fertile adult mind is a queer one. The clock goes tic-tac-toe morning, evening, and night. The clock in my own body, my own private, innate being is ticking fast. Each day, I crave to return to an inner landscape which I can fill with promises of lush pastures, easy, simple rules of lighting up my shores. But each night, I realize it is the same surrender, the helter-skelter sounds of a multicolored heart coming to jolt me out of my adult reveries. The crisscross of a number of thwarted wants resurface, some on their own, some at my unconscious swims. At age 40, when all a woman needs are mammograms and annual wellness checks for her reproductive tract that is still technically functioning, she's not supposed to go back and reverse the topography of her mind. A lot of it has been etched in crooked cursive lines and the marks can't be erased. At age 40, a woman's body and mind hopscotching between the soil of her faraway hometown in India and the manicured grass of the backyards and front yards of her adopted homes is like that July full of rain and darkness which does not know where the deluge might pour, rising out of the hollows of a sky aged with memories and footnotes. Thus, the deluge is all over the place, clinging to her with the measure of awkwardness. An early shower of puberty followed by a brash series of lessons and sudden bursts of pain were all mine. The topography of my mind has been the flim-flam of everything said, every travail and escapade I made in 2 different continents, the nervous childhood energy and the hot, hurried dance steps, now lost. So I won't take the time to read out the entire thing. I'll just read the ending paragraph, just the 2 or 4 lines. From your tooth fairy tale and your quizzes to the loss of my own childhood dreams, from the scattered notes of my forgotten textbooks to the solitary makeshift heaven of books, music, and writing, I home hither and thither, taking in your foamy talks. I hope you will believe someday that the topography of a fertile adult mind of a middle-aged woman is a queer one, the mind of your mother, who is full of you both and her cracked earth and the overwhelming mass of her stories. Memoir ends here.